pop the drive tyre.
To make matters worse, the flat tyres rolled off the rim.
It's gone flat. I can't see any visible, like tear marks in the side or any giant holes. See if I can inflate it. And then once it's pumped up, determine where or why there's leaking out of it. I'd like to be able to fix it rather than change it because it's a bit warm out here.
Jacking up his road train and wrestling with 50 kilos of hot rubber would be a recipe for heat stroke. To get the tyre back onto its rim with minimal effort, Russell has an unconventional approach. He may look like an angry pyromaniac, but Russell's got science behind him. The air consumed by the fire should suck the tyre onto the rim. But it's not working.
Normally I just put a spray of that around when it's not that hot. Just light it, draws its air from the inside and poof, the tyre seals.
Finally, success.
Bit of persistence. That was about the last try and then it was coming off.
Now to find the puncture.
I can hear it now quite clearly. The hole in the back here. Something in there. I'll dig that out first and see what I can see. Wouldn't read about it. It's an old plug.
It's an old repair job that's come apart.
Tyre's nearly at the end of its life anyway, so we just do something to get it through.
He hopes a new plug will fix it.
Look at that, like brand new. Should be all right. We'll get going.
Russell's latest mission, trucking a rickety mobile building to a remote station.
I'm gonna put this cap on there. I'm gonna close the door now and when we get to the other side of Hart's Bluff, we'll open the door and see if it's still there.
Russell and his patch tyre are about to hit the hard part of this journey.
It's only about 58 k's from here to Hart's Bluff. And it's about another 30 odd k's after that we've got to go, but this 58 k's could kill this demountable.
The rocky road ahead will push his worn-out tyres and his worn-out load to breaking point.
I'm gonna have to take them down to about 40 odd. And that should give this Hart a smooth ride in.
Less air in the tyres will cushion the blows from the road.
Rightio, all good to go.
Until now, Russell's coffee cup has hung in there, but the road ahead is notorious for breaking more than just china.
Tyre tracks means it's gone bull dusty, it's chopped up.
Holes in the road surface fill with fine dust.
These bull dust holes are little surprises. You don't know how deep they are, and that's hitting them too fast. It's the sort of thing that's going to cause damage to the heart.
His load, outside and in, is relying on him being at the top of his game.
I'm still pretty confident that that cup we positioned back there for a joke is still all right.
Now, a dry creek bed to negotiate.
A few overhanging trees here. We're just going to have to pick the right line. We've got to sort of take it out wide, make sure that the demountable building doesn't collect one of the tree branches overhead.
He's through without a scratch.
Let's do your fingers crossed about that coffee cup. It's just coming on sunset. We're just sort of coming into Hart's Bluff now.
He's nearing his drop-off point.
just about to get up to where we're going to camp. There's a nice breeze, and I'm looking forward to a nice view in the morning.
It's not the view he had in mind.
Must have leaked.
But that's not the half of it. Further back, more carnage from the road.
Yeah, all we've had here is a wheel bearing, like, collapse. Won't be able to travel with this thing.
The nearest workshop is over 200 kilometres away. Russell will need all his bush mechanic skills to drive away from this one.
I'll give it a quick squirt of air and then we might be all right.
While he hopes the flat is a minor repair, the wheel bearing is not. To fix this problem, he needs to first unload the hut. Out here, the only way to do that is with his loader. It's a tricky operation. He has to make sure he gets the forks in exactly the right spot. Balancing a 6-ton, 14-metre hut on 2 forks is an extremely risky manoeuvre. A sudden jerk or a gust of wind and this flimsy building could hit the dirt.
Perfect. Can't have a look inside and see how it travelled.
The moment of truth for his China cup.
Oh well, the cup's still there. No tricks. Would have only had to go like that and it would have come off.
With the weight safely off his trailer, Russell can turn to the wheel bearing problem. The hub is completely destroyed. Without any spare parts, he needs to get creative. Working on his own in over 40-degree heat, Russell's just about had it.
I'm a bit out of condition. It's a bit hot.
His rig has 62 wheels. Russell thinks he can get by with one less. A makeshift sling will keep the bare hub from dragging along the ground.
Had a fair bit of tyre drama coming out here. All become a bit evident this morning when we had a look around. Anyway, it's all done now. I might sit on out of here, get a bit of breeze going through me.
Next stop, Alice Springs. He's got a long list of repairs and a little less rubber on the road. But for this Outback trucker, it's another mission completed.
I've got a couple of thousand Ks in front of me. About 1,200 of it's dirt. And Mother Nature and dirt roads have got their little wicked ways of playing all sorts of horrible tricks on you. So we'll see how we go.
Steve can only hope the weather gods will be kind.
I'm still comfortable in my time to get to Kalgoorlie, but I can't afford any hassles out there. There's been some talk about storms and stuff out there.
On these roads, heavy rain can turn dust into mud in a matter of minutes, and mud means the risk of getting bogged. While the distances are huge and the risks great, the rewards can be spectacular.
And there it is, that's the big Bundi, the big kahuna. The rock to Australians should be like Mecca is to the Muslims. I think every Australian should make a pilgrimage to the rock. It's something well worth seeing, and it's part of our heritage, it's part of Australia. You know, I've seen the rock hundreds of times, but every time I see that Uluru again, it brings a smile to my face.
With an awesome sight behind him, there's a dreaded one ahead.
There's 1,200 kilometres of dirt in front of me. And it's the old story. Prepare, be ready. If you're not prepared, well, your dramas just get bigger. I'm starting to regret those smart statements I made back in Alice Springs about dream run, blue skies and the sun shining all day. Anytime I say I'm going somewhere and it's going to be fine weather, it bloody rains.
Bad weather could destroy Steve's chances of making the deadline on this job, risking thousands of dollars of other work.
The normal fear with the weather is that we get enough rain that they close the road, and the closed roads cost me time.
But another of his old foes has just as big an appetite for destruction. Corrugations. These constant ridges turn dirt roads into bone-shaking highways from hell. Every last nut and bolt on the truck takes a beating. Steve must pull up and check his load regularly. Every stop means more time lost, but push on, and he risks damaging his load, his reputation, and the job.
I've just got onto the bad corrugations, and it doesn't take long, only a couple of kilometres, and anything that's going to come loose will rattle loose.
And it's not just the freight that's taking a battering.
What I've got here is a great big stone cut.
A tyre's been ripped clean open. Changing it here will eat up precious time and Steve's spares.
It's a temporary repair. You know, I'll get the rest out of this tyre rather than put another good tyre on here and take a chance.
First, Steve threads strips of soft rubber into the puncture. When the tyre's pumped back up, the air pressure should flatten the rubber, plugging the hole. But with air still pouring from the tyre, it seems one plug's not enough. While the tyre's not airtight, Steve's willing to take a gamble.
See what I get out of it.
As he's getting ready to go, Steve spots another victim of the corrugations.
That is to serve yourself right, you know. I meant to tape these plugs yesterday, I didn't, and one's dragged and buggered itself.
Steve's kicking himself. He should have taped up the trailer plugs before heading onto the dirt.
I know how bad the road can be. I know what the corrugations are like, and I know that you tape your plugs, and I looked at it yesterday and thought I better put some tape on that, and thought, no, she'll be right.
He now has no rear lights. Out here, no lights can be deadly. If he's to carry on, he must fix it.
Everything got a good shake up back there. Just so much for the dream run.
He hopes a spare will do the trick.
Fortunately, I've got a plug.
If he can't fix it, he'll have to unhook and turn back for Alice Springs, 400 kilometres away. A delay that could cost him this job and several others.
Let's see how good we are. And on. Voila, we have lights.
While he has lights, he doesn't have time.
It's nearly dark. I've only got an hour or two to go.
Steve needs to push on as hard as he can on these rough roads before nightfall.
It's amazing what corrugations will do. You don't have to be on the corrugations for long for the little bits of drama to start to set in.
Drama is not what Steve needs as he hits one of the most infamous roads in Australia.
Well, here we are in the west. We're just across the border. We're on the Great Central Road now. We've come off the Chukaruru Road onto the Great Central Road.
The Great Central Road links the west with the heart of Australia. It's 1,100 kilometres of red dirt track, straight through the depths of the Outback. Few truckers dare to make the crossing. Those that do risk life and limb.
Some of these cars out here go back as far, model-wise, as the late 40s. Some of them just perished out here for the want of a bit of petrol or a tyre.
Suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, the latest victim of the Great Central Road.
I'll pull up here and see what's happening.
Just metres away, the same model van is an eerie sight. But this broken-down tourist is lucky. A rare passing vehicle was able to help.
My wife has gone to town to see if she could get a tow truck driver to come and pick me up.
With help on its way, Steve can move on.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
We'll leave you
Thanks,
to it.
mate.
Good on you.
The $800 towing bill will be worth every cent. It's been a long, tough day. Finally, Steve can pull up for the night. But for Outback Truckers, there's no rest until the job's done. Steve wants to head out at first light, and that means changing his leaking tyre now.
If you couldn't deal with stuff like this in this business, well, you'd have to get out of it. Stay home with Mum.
He's tired and hungry, but the veteran trucker still has some heavy lifting to do. Each wheel weighs 50 kilograms. On a bad day, they can take an hour to change.
I'll just make sure everything's pretty right with this truck.
While Steve wants to sprint to the finish line, he still has 300 kilometres of dirt to go.
I've got to keep one eye on things because there's little traps just ready to get you at a minute's notice. And it's pretty lonely country out here.
And the corrugations are back. The bitumen can't come soon enough.
And that's her, that's bitumen, that's the good stuff. Nearly 1,200 kilometres of dirt behind us and, I don't know, 12 billion corrugations. And lots and lots and lots of cars that never made it.
Despite the battering, Steve survived the dirt.
And we'll head into some civilisation, a shower and a feed, to sit down and feed that someone else cooks somewhere will be nice.
After all the delays, he's made it on time.
You like getting a job done and you like getting the freight in on time, tidy your gear up and get some maintenance done and go and do another one. If life could be like that all the time, it'd be a pretty good life. Here we are.
On this trip, he needed something special on his side.
Maybe it's the luck of the rock. Anyway, I'll go with it.
He's delivered this load and kept the other jobs alive. But there's no time to spare. He must load up for the next run and do it all over again.
We've just got low coolant level coming up. We must be getting low on water.
Outside, it's over 40 degrees.
Just a couple of bottles, hey, and I'll fill them up.
And Nick and Joe's engine has a sudden first. A mystery water leak has drained 3 litres from the radiator. Nick's worried the problem could get worse.
Well, it seems to be blowing all back over the motor, so it's leaking up the front there somewhere. Check at a dry scale again while it's got some heat in, and I might find out where it's actually coming from. We're being pretty late, I would say.
Yeah, righto. No worries. We'll pass on the message.
No worries, thank you.
60 kilometres short of help at Drysdale Cattle Station, the radiator's water level is dangerously low. Finally, he spots the cause of the problem.
The dirty mongrel.
Found the leak.
A pinprick hole in the radiator.
It's only a tiny little hole. Crack the core in it, and it's nothing you can really do because it's an aluminium cored radiator, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. You can't solder it.
All they can do is top up and push on.
60 kilometres to go. That should take us through 3 hours. I think if the road's reasonably good. If it's shit, well, it's 6 hours.
It's a painstaking drive into the darkness. The leaking radiator's getting worse. But Nick thinks he's found a fix.
Basically liquid steel, really. Just physically just go over the core of the radiator and then hopefully block the hole. I can't really see the hole properly, but... Just turn him on slow.
Slow enough?
That'll do. Well, we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we don't spring any more leaks. This is where the road starts getting real rough.
And right on cue.
We've still got a problem with this low water light keeps coming on.
This time, it takes a whopping 15 litres to fill her up. But now it's not the radiator.
It's not bad going.
This leak is coming from somewhere else.
Fix one leak and then a water pump starts. I might just have to order a new pump from Theta and get it flown in Columbaroo. See how it goes. Hopefully it'll get us back to town.
Oh, I hope it's not like this for the rest of the way.
A shit bit of road.
Like what, 2.5 kilometres an hour now, I think.
After 8 hours on the road, Nick and Joe have barely covered 100 kilometres.
Oh, I was hoping to be up past Theta tonight, but that's not going to happen.
Next morning, and Nick's hatched a plan to prolong the life of his dying water pump.
It can't be any worse than it already is.
Loaded full of grease.
Stop a bit of that water from running out of that water pump, at least till we get to Theta.
Theta, the next station, is now only 40 kilometres away. But the way his truck's performing, it might as well be 400.
That temperature gauge is coming back up again. It was just right down on the thing and now it just climbs straight back up again. So, and real quick. I'd say she's just worn out.
Tomorrow they're due in Columbaroo, now only 50 kilometres away. But Nick's worried the water pump won't even last that long.
How you going? This is Nick here from North Kimberley Transport. I'm chasing a water pump for a Mack CH. Do you? Yep.
Good news, the pump's in stock
No worries.
and can be flown to their next stop. Back onto the Columbaroo Road.
This is where the fun begins.
That's barely a road at all.
Then it just starts getting narrow and rougher and rocky rough because it doesn't get maintained. But it is a pretty poor excuse for a road, really. Just a billy goat track, that's about all it is.
Only 30 kilometres to go. On any other road, they'd be on the home straight.
So bloody nice. So I'll just pull up your steer where it's a bit wider.
Another mechanical failure could be the final blow. Nick and Joe have crawled into Columbaroo. They still haven't got to the bottom of the distressing sound under the bonnet.
Something that's not right. I'll have a look.
But right now, it's a puzzle Nick doesn't have time to solve. This freight for the general store needs to be offloaded. After the violent journey, they're anxious to see its condition. A little dusty, but all intact. All that's left now is to deliver 10 drums of fuel to a remote fishing camp, just 30 kilometres north.
Well, we made it to Honeymoon. Here we are. The last drop-off point on the Columbaroo Road. The very end of it. The northern point that you can get a truck into.
A new day, a new drama.
Well, we made it to Honeymoon, but something's let go under here.
A noise from under the bonnet has got Nick worried.
That's the problem. Busted engine mount. We've got 2 engine mount bolts that are snapped.
Crucial bolts holding the engine in place have broken.
You've got 470 odd horsepower at torque, pulling up them hills. The motor's got to go somewhere.
If they can't fix this, the whole engine could shake loose.
Come off, you bastard. There we go. Hey, Joanna, can you come around this left-hand side here? I'll just see if I can push that up. I'll be able to do it. It's right there. Come out.
Yep. Well, we don't have a spare one of them.
That's the problem.
Vital bolts holding their engine in place have sheared clean off. Without them, their motor could shift violently and destroy itself.
Pain. Lancho, you got any bolts like that? That size?
We've gone and have a look in the shed.
To survive the road ahead, the bolts should be made of high tensile steel. But beggars can't be choosers. These mild steel bolts will have to do.
I reckon I might just try them ones.
Just right on there. Thanks, mate.
So I don't know how long they're going to last, but that's all I can do, otherwise I'm going to end up doing some major damage to them.
Radio.
Well, it's got to be bloody tight, that's for sure. Joy of taking freight to the places that trucks really shouldn't go.
Time to start the long road home.
Radio. We're ready to go. Columbaroo, here we come.
Back on the road to Columbaroo. Nick and Joe collect a trailer.
Might just put some water in that radiator.
And check on their problem cooling system. Their water pump is still leaking, making this next pickup critical.
Let's go and see this pilot. See if he's got our water pump, hopefully.
It's the pump they ordered 3 days ago.
Tell me it's all the right stuff.
Wrong one. No, it's not.
A precious standby if the other pump dies on the road.
Oh, that's what we want. I feel better now I've got a spare one of them sitting on board. Couple of nags.
Next day, and Nick's feeling positive. He's found a way to stop his worn-out water pump from leaking.
I've taken the rubber out of the radiator cap so I can't build up pressure, so it seems to have stopped it. We'll be right. Drysdale, here we come, Joanna.
Drysdale Station is Joe's family home. For Nick, more running repairs.
It was pretty much at it. Plastic bloody stuff, everything's plastic these days. This is the expansion tank, and that's the header tank, actually the top of the radiator, really.
But just as one repair is done,
oh, good one!
another problem appears.
Yeah, I'll probably wear that one. It's my fault. Nick thought I unplugged it and I hadn't done. He'll get mileage out of that for ages now. Remember that time when you didn't unplug the lights?
That's what happens when you don't stay in a routine. Right, we'll replace this.
Oh, you got your glasses on.
I have to pull my spare eyes, otherwise I can't see the numbers on these things. You know, travelling along this dirt with no tail lights on your trailer, you're likely to get somebody to run up your arse. I don't want that. Okay. Rightio.
A quick goodbye to the family, then time to make a mile.
Give River Road, here we come.
The Gib hasn't improved since Nick and Joe were last on it. It's rough. And today, it's hot. Over 40 degrees in the shade. Then, the last thing they wanted to hear.
That one before. Engine cool temp high. She's right up on 120 here now.
Even topped up, the engine temperature isn't dropping. 250 kilometres from the nearest mechanic at the hottest and driest time of the year. Nick and Joe couldn't have picked a worse moment to break down.
I'm praying to Flaming God that it's the thermostat, because I don't want to be at the oil cooler. Otherwise I will be sitting here for 3 days fixing it.
Making matters worse, it's the hottest, driest time of the year, with little water about and their truck's been leaking bucket loads.
A couple little creeks, still got a little bit of water in them, but yeah, not much.
So we have 140 litres of water.
For the dry road ahead, they'll need all the water they can carry.
We can only hope for the best. Come on, old girl, give us a good day.
If it all goes well, just a day's drive now stands between Nick and Joe and home.
Alternator tonight, hopefully. Better be. Doesn't help the road's bloody rough either.
But even with a new thermostat, things aren't looking good.
The temperature's sitting around 104. Might be a slow trip back home. Pretty much over 100, 110, you're really getting up a little bit too high. Now the engine cooling temp might come on.
They've only driven 3 kilometres.
Might be pulling up here. Might be doing that water pump, might have no bloody choice. I think you're just losing too much water out of that water pump, I think.
This truck is refusing to go any further.
Oh, she's just shut down. Gonna have to let it cool down now. That's not good. I think she's just packed it in. But it looks like the new water pump is just going to have to go in. You put the worst jobs off to last, and then you end up having to do them anyway. I hope this fixes it.
Replacing the water pump can be a complicated operation for an experienced mechanic in a well-equipped workshop. Nick and Joe are attempting it on the side of the road with limited tools under a blazing sun.
Well, it's 40 and it's only like 10 o'clock. It's pretty chancy sort of stuff doing this out in the scrub for getting dirt and stuff in it, and you get dirt in here, and that's the end of your motor, really. Rightio, that's the nut we've got to get to. That dirty little bastard there. Don't drop it down in the
After 4 hours of painstaking work, the final touches.
The do-or-die question, is that going to bloody fix a problem, or is the problem still going to be there? I hope it bloody fixed it, otherwise I'm going to be in for a slow trip back into town.
The moment of truth.
My new water pump, so here we go. It's reading 80 now.
It isn't long
Back up to 100, over 100.
before their worst fears are realised.
What is causing this? I don't find know.
A satellite phone call to their mechanic in Brisbane, 3,000 kilometres away, could shed some light.
I need some help. I've had a leaking water pump. It keeps getting hot, and now I've replaced the water pump, thermostat, and now it's pushing water back out through the header tank. Oh, yeah.
The fate of this trip and their customers' freight hangs in the balance.
Yep. No worries, Daniel. I'll give that a go. Rightio, mate. Bye.
After checking for blocked hoses and fittings and disconnecting the air conditioner,
This doesn't seem right.
Nick's getting a sinking feeling.
Just looking more and more like head gasket to me, dear. It's somewhere deeper inside the engine. And if it's a head, you've got major bloody problems. Pretty much the engine rebuilds, really.
Time-consuming, expensive, and strictly for the workshop, repairing a head gasket would be a crippling cost for Nick and Joe's small business.
Any major mechanical failure is always a bit disheartening. Many, many, many thousands.
All they can do is struggle on, and hope the truck holds up. But now they're hitting hill country, putting their engine under maximum strain.
She's straight back up again, 120.
Dangerously hot, the truck's losing power.
You dirty mongrel. It does not want to let us go.
And now, the computer has shut it down completely.
Well, I don't know where to start, honey.
A day's drive from help. Nick and Joe are stranded and fast running out of options.
We've got major problem. Major problem. That's not good.
With night falling, they need to move their crippled truck off the road.
I'll tow it up the top of there with a loader.
Using a 100 horsepower loader to pull a 60-ton triple road train is a big ask, especially over one of the steepest hills on this track.
Leave it out of gear?
Leave it out of gear and I'll just...
Steer or don't?
And just steer.
For Joe, the pressure's on.
Radio.
Yellow button off.
Yep.
Get out of line and she could push Nick into the bush.
Part of the job I hate. Am I like straight enough behind you or?
Yeah, that's good. You just follow me.
Oh, it just makes me feel sick.
Adding to Joe's stress, even idling, the truck's still dangerously hot.
It's at 102, it's just sitting on.
But the only way over the hill ahead is with the truck and loader working together.
I wouldn't want to be going halfway up there and then have it get hot and shut down and then it's just a world of hurt, you know, so.
The big climb begins.
Them two levers on your gear stick, honey, push them both down.
They're down. On a big hill and it's steep and it'll be a hard pull. And I'm not real steady on the accelerator.
If the truck overheats now and shuts down,
Still sitting on 102.
getting moving again would be near impossible.
Last little bit.
How you going?
Still sitting on 103. Not far to the top. So close. Last little bit's quite a pull. I'm really happy we're not doing it in the dark. I'm glad there's a tiny little bit of daylight left. I'm pretty nervous doing it in the dark, but
They're over the ridge and can move off the road.
Stay out right out that way.
It's the end of a day Nick and Joe would rather forget.
Something wrong here. Something made a bit of a pop.
Sludge's truck is dangerously overheating.
I'll pull up. Temperature gauge is right up. That's not normal. I should have dropped by now. I'll have a bit of a look and... Oh, shit. And see what's going on.
Stranded 60 kilometres from the nearest town, Sludge needs all his bush mechanic skills to get the road train moving again.
Really just a pain in the arse. Just gonna do this. Oh, look at that. All the bolts are falling out. All the bolts are falling out the top of the alternator. Everything's come loose.
The alternator is vital for charging the battery. Without it, Sludge can't move.
If I haven't got any nuts, I won't be going anywhere. I've got to have the nuts to actually get it back together.
With a badly damaged hand, he struggles to fix a busted alternator.
We can't afford to have things like this going wrong out here.
He's desperate to complete his deliveries and make it home in time for Christmas with his son.
Jesus, not too. Just what you want to be doing with a bung hand.
Sludge's reputation is hanging by a thread.
That's the bolt, still there. Thread's a bit buggered on it, so we'll have a look. I'll see if we can find another one.
If he can't find the correct nut, his trip south is over.
This is where the bolts are.
Letting down his customers and disappointing his son.
Wash it. Ooh, look at that. That fits.
Sludge's box of random bolts delivers.
Very lucky the bolt didn't come out and cut all the fan belts up.
Sludge dodges disaster, but has lost valuable time.
Lost a bloody hour and a half out of that lot, so the day's bloody slipping away pretty quick now.
Sludge is late for the next drop-off.
It's full on at this time of the year.
In double quick time, he needs to position his truck and unload thousands of litres of desperately needed fuel.
You never know what you're going to run into at these places. Yeah, somebody's been real helpful, put a truck in the road. Looks like I'm going to have to drive a bloody Volvo. Unbelievable. I'll have to go through my cupboard and get a dress out, put a skirt on it.
A driverless truck is causing Sludge more delays.
Got to move it out of the way and so I can get in.
But for this farmer, he's delivering just in the nick of time.
We were on the last 2,000 litres, so we were a bit low.
Sludge has one final drop-off
Now we're heading out into nowhere.
before he heads home for Christmas.
It's the last farmer between there and the desert. How are you, mate? I'm all right. Long time no see. Been a long year, but it's finished. That's one trailer empty.
Finally, Sludge is back home, and just in time for a father to keep a promise to his son.
It's nice to be home. Go and see the young fella and see what he's up to. Hello. I'm back. Oh, you had a good week?
Fuel, and if these things run out of fuel while they're hot, it's not good for them.
On these trips with no petrol stations for miles, he carries his own supply. 2,000 litres of diesel in 2 big tanks behind the cabin. It's a simple job to pump into the truck's main tanks.
Normally you just click that on there, click, click, turn the tap, diesel goes in here. Easy.
If you have the right gear with you.
The boys put the fuel hoses and filters and everything in a box for me. The only thing they forgot was the adapter that makes the cam lock from that fit these pods. So I can't get the fuel out of there into my truck.
His solution? Siphon the fuel. But that means sucking on the hose, risking a mouthful of foul-tasting, toxic diesel.
I've temporarily overcome my problem by just running the siphon hose into there. But it'll take 2.5 days to fill this up. So it'll just keep the motor running while I work out what I'm going to do.
Russell's bought himself some time. But he needs to find that connector, or the engine will stall and could be destroyed.
But I got everything except for the cam lock that goes on there. Oh, okay, mate.
Russell has a solution, but not one that thrills him.
Just got to get a couple hundred litres in here and I'll be happy.
Siphon again, but this time with a wider hose. A bigger chance of a bigger mouthful of diesel.
Yeah, I've got plenty of fuel in now to easily make it to Mount Isa.
While he has enough fuel, there's still the issue of the engine running too hot. Russell's been ignoring the red light on the dash, warning him to shut down.
I just know it's not right.
He's convinced it's a false alarm.
Just from experience, I know that it's getting a false reading on the oil temperature.
It's bugging him. Time for a Russell Crusher solution. unplug it.
We've got the light to go out. I don't think I've fixed the problem, but I've stopped that light distracting me. We're not travelling too bad today. We lost a little bit of time mucking around, getting that fuel in, but I'm going to be on target to knock over roughly 1,000 k's for the day.
In Mount Isa, Russell's in luck.
Yeah, we got this thing. It's not the exact cam lock fitting that I was after, but we'll be able to take the hose out and put it in here.
He can now transfer diesel from his emergency fuel tank.
With a bit of 100-mile-an-hour tape, we've managed to get the hose to fit, and we've now got the fuel flowing up through the filter into the tank here. This hose here will only reach to this one tank, so I'll probably just fill this tank up. It'll equalise across to the others.
Russell needs to make up time. He's due into Middlemount tomorrow.
We've only got like about 600 to go now, so I'm back on track where I wanted to be.
But not for long.
Motor's just cut out on this old girl, mate. I'm going to have to pull up here somewhere.
The engine's lost power.
We've got to get this thing to cool right down, just in case it does cut out.
If the engine cuts out without cooling down, it could seize. Russell tries to jump-start it back into life. Russell now has the problem of getting his dry engine running again. But the starter motor is powered by compressed air, and there's not enough pressure to turn it over. Using an old trucker's trick, Russell steals air from the tyres. He's already 2 hours behind schedule.
With the air out of that, into the start tank here, we've primed this, a couple of goes, should fire.
Russell's back to square one and getting further and further behind. He can't get the starter motor to turn over enough to get the engine running.
When these things run out of fuel, it takes a hell of a lot to get them going.
Russell needs to find more air pressure to drive the truck's starting mechanism. The answer is sitting on the trailer behind him. He can tap into the grader's supply. And with some more massaging, at last. Ignition. Russell's lost valuable time, but at least he's moving again.
I usually get myself out of trouble, especially since I'm usually the one that gets myself into trouble.
Carrying his own fuel can create dramas, but it squeezes maximum profit from every run.
Fuel's quite cheap when there's no work around, and then when there seems to be plenty of work, fuel's dear. And what I've done is when the fuel's cheap, I buy it, then when I get a job, I've already got the cheaper fuel. Just a little bit of mucking around, but you know, savings of hundreds of dollars. But that was just through a bit of bad luck. We didn't have that correct fitting with us. Otherwise, there would have been a fuel transfer happening all the way along here. Anyway, can't cry over spilt milk. Job's done, we're going. It'll be right.
But already over 2 hours behind, Russell hits another problem. Belching black smoke is a bad sign.
I can just pick a slight smell of it, and just a slight hint of it in the mirror.
The last thing Russell wants is another stop, but he has no choice. An engine fire would be far worse.
I think we disturbed it just while I was up there using the primer.
One of his fuel lines is leaking, spraying diesel everywhere.
And I must have like bumped it and it's cracked it and split it and now it's just leaking fuel. These motors return a certain amount of fuel back to the fuel tank, and This hose here just transfers that fuel from one side to the other. It's gone brittle and hard, and, you know, there's a name for it, but we'll just call it not very good.
If he'd ignored it, things could have turned serious.
The fan was blowing it back onto the turbo, and so the fuel was hitting the turbo, and then, you know, then it's creating smoke. It's a good idea to get on top of it, because when the going gets really tough, that turbo gets really, really hot, and it possibly would get hot enough to ignite the diesel leak. Then it could have got really bad.
Russell doesn't have a spare fuel line, but he does have 30 years of experience as a bush mechanic. He has something similar in his toolbox, but it's for compressed air, not diesel.
This is airline that I'm using here now. It'll be good enough.
It's a risk. If it breaks and sprays diesel on the hot engine, there could be a fire. But out here, Russell doesn't have much choice.
It is airline, not fuel line, but we'll just hope that it's sort of like high temperature resistant. Inevitably, there is usually something else that can do two jobs, right? You might not have exactly what's needed, but there'll be something else somewhere on this truck that will fix the problem. We've spotted it, we just lifted the bonnet again, we fixed it, bonnet's down, we're going again.
Russell still has 200 kilometres to go to his destination. His giant rig relying on a tiny air hose, doing a job it's not designed for. He survived 2,500 kilometres and makes it to his first drop-off. At this depot, all he has to do is unhitch a trailer. But the next stop won't be nearly as easy. This road roller has to come off. It weighs 12 tonnes, and getting it from the tray to the ground will be a nightmare.
We've been 2,500 kilometres getting here. We're going to be here for about half an hour and then turn around and head all the way home.
The truck may have taken a beating, but the expensive machinery on the back is in good condition.
You might think it's pretty hard to break a grader, but you've only got to get near a low tree or a branch, and you can take out a windscreen. If you've encountered somebody going the other way too fast, you hit a rock, you break the glass.
Yeah, we're on the tail end of it now.
Russell's happy, but he's got one last test.
It's all here. We just got to get it to the ground, and we're done.
The big grader is on the trailer with the ramps. But the 12-tonne road roller isn't. It means Russell will have to make a bridge between the two trailers so he can drive the roller across and then down the ramps.
What we're doing here, just a little bit of a safety. We just tie this trailer to this trailer. Because when I bring that machine there, across here, if for some reason the two trailers get apart, it could end up messy.
A 12-tonne road roller having to cross a makeshift bridge. If anything fails, Russell's journey could end in tears. It's job done. After 3 trying days, Russell can relax.
Feels really good that we're here now. We've successfully unloaded everything. There's not a broken windscreen, there's not a mark on anything. It's quite satisfying that they're on the ground now. So they're delivered. My job with this on this mission is completed.